never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Or will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live pre-game streaming show. Here tonight to preview the game against the Brooklyn Nets. First of all, let's introduce the cast. The cast that are, well, 50% are hanging a bit. I'll let you guys sort of work out who that might be. Already there's mints. First of all, Olly Rahimi, how are you, sir?
Hey, okay, mate. I'm
great.
You
sure? You look good. You look good. How was the pasta? Did the pasta go down well?
Yeah, it helped. Helped a lot.
It helped. Good, man. Sam Aquara, you're looking sharp, mate. How are you, mate? You look good. You look refreshed. You look good.
Thank you. I'm feeling good. Glad it's the weekend. It's been a long week.
Yes, it's good to have you back, mate. I know you've been working hard, so great to have you back. And Glenn Smith, hang on a sec. Let's just say I'm going to solo Glenn. Glenn, how are those eyes, mate? They look a bit bloodshot. You all right? You good?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right, eh? Ollie had his penne and I had a McDonald's, so yeah.
Best way. Well, thank you for joining me, guys, even though you're feeling a little bit
Always
delicate.
A pleasure.
That's what the weekend's all about. Anyway, guys, before we come on to the Brooklyn game tonight, of course, let's reflect on the game against New Orleans. But actually, before I want to do that, Sam, I'm going to start with you very quickly because we did our last show last time out, the trade deadline special. You was busy for that, couldn't make it for it. So very quickly, your thoughts on trade deadline. Heat didn't make any moves. Are you worried about that? Do you think there was any missed opportunities there, or are you happy with what we got?
Absolutely not. We've got a stacked roster and we've still got loads to come. I mean, Victor Oladipo is still on his way on the mend, so I'm not worried at all. And to top it off, we're number one in the East, so why do you be worried? Exactly
that. Yeah, very well summed up. I think it's as simple as that. Yeah, I think there was, we all like the transaction. We all like to see a new player come through the doors, but they're not going to make one for make's sake. There were some inquiries made by all accounts, but the Heat are happy with what they've got. So on we move. Let's come around to the New Orleans game then. Ollie, a close game all the way through, really, until it mattered. And then Jimmy and co took over. It ended up a 15-point win, but it didn't tell the whole story, did it? It was a close game.
Yeah, I think that's well put. I think that 15 points kind of flattered us a little bit. Like you said, it was a tough game, and obviously with players like Brandon Ingram and Valanciunas and stuff, they're dogged players and they'll stick around. And CJ McCollum as well in his debut for them. So yeah, it was a tough game. I think, like I said, that 15 points was maybe a bit deceptive if you didn't watch the game, but a win's a win, and we keep rolling. I think we'll be good tonight. So yeah, can't complain.
Sticking with you for a second, Jimmy, Kyle and Bam were all their best versions of themselves. I actually put that in a tweet, and I think that's a really good way to put it. If you had to pick a man of the match, if you like, out of those three, they all have a case there. Triple-double for Kyle. Bam looking aggressive once more. We'd love to see it. But Jimmy just showing every inch of the max player that he is. Who had the tip if you had to give that award there?
Oh, that's difficult because, like you said, they were all brilliant. They all had their own facets of the game, which they really excelled in. I think it'd have to be Kyle for a triple-double. You don't get those easily. So, yeah, congrats to him. Jimmy was obviously delighted for him in the post-match interview as well. So, yeah, it's got to be Kyle.
Yeah, good man. Yeah, Kyle, I mean, just again showing what he means to this team. It's quite exceptional, the difference that one man can make. We certainly are delighted to have him back. I mentioned it there, Glenn. But Bam Adebayo once again is just showing that he is every inch a superstar when he's got his mentality and his mind and his frame of mind back into what we know he can be, and that's being aggressive and taking shots. He took a lot of shots. Those shots were falling. That mid-range was back. You love to see it, don't you?
Yeah, it's a great performance, as you said, and both of you said it was a great performance from all three. But picking out Bam on that is damn right, because the tall players that New Orleans have in Valanciunas and stuff like that, they're beefy and they can be difficult to square up against and really try and dive in onto and get physical with. So the fact that he's happy shooting that shot when he needs to, and it's draining for him, is always great to see. And again, great stat line for him with a double-double. So it's what you want to see from him.
Yeah, completely. And Sam, I know you've been busy and haven't caught a lot of the games recently, but you've obviously seen the difference that Carl has made since his return, has made to this team, etc. We've said it many times before, the most impactful player on this roster. What do we? I mean, a triple-double for him, delightful to see it. You expect it to go. I mean, not that he'll be bothered, but he's capable of putting this up on a nightly basis, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And one thing I noticed just catching up on highlights and looking at the stat board, it's like he stole loads of assists off of Bam because Bam only had 1 assist in the last game. But yeah, it's something I'd expect him to carry on with because he had a long time off to deal with whatever he was dealing with, and it seemed like he just came back fresh and good to go. So yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Obviously, we'll come on to the Nets in a second, but I just want to bring up actually quickly something that I just saw. I was just looking for my phone there. This was tweeted out, it's retweeted by Jeremy Taché, my man Jeremy Taché, from Coop's article that is just released here for Coop NBA. And that is him saying, a great Coop NBA nugget right off the top. The Heat's starting 5 of Lowry, Robinson, Butler, Tucker, and Adebayo has a 92.9 defensive rating in 240 minutes together. If you projected that rating over a full season, it would be the second best defensive rating of all time. Now, I know that's obviously not much minutes to go by, but 92.9% with a team that has been disrupted all season with injuries and so on. For the short time they have been on court together, that is ridiculous, Ollie, isn't it? And we always say we do it by defense. Obviously, all it's going to do, you would think, with more reps and more minutes together, it's only going to keep getting better. That's scary, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. That's a mental stat. Obviously, I don't know what number 1 is. My initial guess would be MJ Scotty and Dennis Rodman or something like that from the Bulls. But
yeah, I would have guessed.
Yeah. But for them to be second all time in terms of defensive rating and minutes played, that's unbelievable. There's a brilliant quote by Sir Alex Ferguson, like one of the best football managers ever, that attack wins you games and defense wins you titles. So yeah, we're on the right track.
Actually, I'll stop you there. That's not Sir Alex Ferguson. He got that from Coach Bear Bryant, just an American football coach. But yeah.
No way. Oh, I've been deceived.
We'll take it. Look, Sir Alex Ferguson is the GOAT anyway, so we'll take it. It's fine. Right, let's get on to the next game tonight then. Obviously, a fully different looking roster nowadays. At the moment, a 10-game losing streak. Glenn, it's going to be 11 after tonight, I'm sure as well. We'll come to that later. But what do we make with the Nets here? Because we know, season completely disrupted with injuries again. The big three goes down as probably the worst big three of all time. They've reshaped it now. They're a better team, in my opinion, because of it. But what's the Nets' sort of outlook from here on out? Because KD's expected back shortly after All-Star break, I believe. I could be wrong with that. But at full health, they get healthy. They're a problem, obviously. The East is still ridiculously tight. But what do you think their ceiling is now? Do you think they'll be looking at this as the current 8 seed and on the slide, whether they think that maybe just getting a home seat is a win now?
100%, because as we said on the trade deadline, I think one thing that I think we aced was not messing up what we've already got. And the fact that the Nets have had to change such a drastic part of their roster so late in the season, already on the slide, as you say, you've got part-time Kyrie coming into work when he feels like, or whatever cities he can actually play in. I think that's their ceiling. I think if they came in 4th and got the home seed, then they'd be chuffed. They should be chuffed. Especially as we've said many times, how strong the East is. They should be worried because, as you say, it is probably the worst big three that we've seen in a long time, if not all time. So the fact that they haven't been able to produce it is pretty poor, and I'm sure Jay-Z's not happy.
Yeah. Actually, Sam, getting your take on this, because we covered it a bit in the trade deadline show. I personally think it was a win-win trade for the Nets and Philly. Do you think that they're a more rounded team now and at full health? We've got 4 very, very balanced, genuine title contenders. some would say maybe a fifth contender if you throw the balls in the mix there. But what do you think? Do you think the Brooklyn Nets have got better, and did they win this trade?
Ooh, it's definitely a win-win trade. In my opinion, I think Brooklyn got the better end of the stick just because of the other pieces they got to it. Because the issue we've got with Ben Simmons is, or the issue people have got with Ben Simmons is that he doesn't shoot, so it kind of makes basketball more predictable on defense. But when you pair him with not just Seth Curry, you've got Devin Harris as well. And you can play a lineup with Devin Harris, Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. That's all shooters. So it is worrying to think of. But yeah, I think that Brooklyn got the better end of the stick. But I mean,
yeah, I think it's
yeah. I just
quite
wanted to touch on the fact that anything can be considered a win for the 76ers because they had like half a season without Ben Simmons. So it's a bit unfair to judge, but win-win.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I think it is win-win. I think that anybody could argue, and you would understand the reasonings for either one for saying that they've got the better end of that trade. I personally think that the Sixers to be so close to the top seed already to add a superstar when they held on to Ben, who everybody was telling to just throw in. You know, they were saying do a deal for De'Aaron Fox with the Kings. You know, that's why you keep hold of a Ben Simmons, because in the end it landed you a James Harden. So I think that they have to take a lot of credit, but it makes the East very, very exciting. But back onto tonight's game for a minute then, Ollie. We mentioned after trade deadline that we was going to get the Duncan game against Nola. It didn't happen. He is very much that sort of player, isn't he? He's either going to give you 3 points or 15, 18 points. Is that something to be concerned about, or is that just part and parcel of his game and our team as a whole? Because we've got players to fill in if he doesn't go off. But, you know, ideally, you want production from Duncan, don't you?
Yeah, you do, and I think you want a level of consistency that is maybe the flaw that he's not shown recently. So yeah, adding that consistency to his game would it would elevate his. I mean, it would elevate Miami's level, but it would also elevate his value to not just the Heat, but also if the Heat are looking at trading him eventually in the summer or elsewhere. So there's a lot of aspects to that. But in the short term, yeah, consistency is what we need from him. But like you said, we've got so many pieces now that can all contribute effectively, and when they do, you know, there's never any doubt about we will have at least one person to step up. So we don't necessarily need it. He's obviously not our first option scorer, but yeah, a bit more consistency from him, and I think it would elevate the Heat even more.
Yep, definitely. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we do often get these games where it's hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. So last night was a miss. Let's see what happens tonight. Another interesting nugget, Glenn, is we've been saying about, you know, backup fours with PJ, etc. Well, the backup four could be Bam Adebayo these days. We're playing these lineups with two bigs, you know, Dedmon and Bam, Yurtseven and Bam. I mean, it's been working, it's been good, and that's a real positive thing. Imagine if we can work this into the lineup where Bam suddenly shifts over to the four and we get production where we have seen a lot this season with Dedmon. Well, not this season, but in recent weeks with Dedmon. And even now, Yurtseven, he came in again, made an instant impact, was useful, was a handful against Nola. This is something that could be an understated thing of this season now.
I think it's huge because if you look back in the last decade of Heat basketball, we've never had a good big. We've had the stint of Whiteside, and that went okay in the end. But the thing we troubled with against the Bucks last year was the height problem. So surely by plugging in that extra guy, you're going to have a 7-footer in Omer, or you've got, I think Dedmon's in like 6'10". Having that extra height and extra beef in your defense is going to be huge when you've got guys like Giannis running down the floor at you. Embiid, if we pick up the Sixers and stuff like that, it's something that I'm happy that we're fiddling with more now that we get closer to the postseason, because I do think that's going to be key for us to make a deep run and challenge anything on the East, let alone if whoever comes out of the West as well.
I think it's I want to give a massive shout out to the mechanic, because he's been available all season and he's been fucking awesome. He's been useful. He's just and he's playing like he's 21 years old. He's got spring, he's got bounce, he's got athleticism. He's hitting his shots. He's making 3-pointers. He's making blocks. just, you could not ask for anything more for 20 minutes a night from Deadman. So if we can make those minutes where Bam can shift over and Deadman comes in, that's a real different dynamic to this team, and it's exciting when we're already looking very good as it is to add this. So interesting to see whether we see more of the double big lineup tonight. Before I get predictions, Sam, one last thing. You followed this team longer than I think most of us here. I could be wrong, definitely more than me anyway. Of course, James Harden has been in the news again, obviously, with the big trade this week. And of course, now the timeline is flooded again with who's better and who's had a better career out of Dwayne Wade and James Harden. Is this really another debate? Should this be a debate? Ollie's pointing to D Wade. Glenn's pointing to his ring. Why is this still a debate on my timeline?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I think because of the LeBron era, people tend to not appreciate what D Wade was before LeBron. So even putting aside the 05, 06 year, 09 was like prime. Like very few players can touch what D Wade did in 09, and just based off of that, you can't talk to me about D Wade and James Harden.
He should have won MVP 2009 as well.
He should have.
Ultimately put, it's a non-debate, it's a non-starter. I don't know why. I've never seen a debate recycled as much in my time since making this fan account as I've seen that one, and it just baffles me. It baffles me every time. So anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get on to some predictions. As I said, Brooklyn Nets on a 10-game slide. Of course, no KD tonight, no Joe Harris tonight. We think, well, definitely no Ben Simmons, but we think the other two players that went over in that trade, Seth Curry and was there another player? Oh, Drummond. We think are game time decisions. We're not really sure what's happening with them. I don't know whether they're going to be playing or not. Ollie?
So yeah, I actually had a look just now. Both of them are out. They are proper depleted.
Okay, so it is bare bones. It's Kyrie Irving and the rest, if you like. Gives E. Reed more chances to roast Blake Griffin, which I'm always here for. It should be relatively straightforward tonight, but let's see what you all guys think. Let's go around with some predictions. Sam, let's start with you.
Keeping it in line with sort of Heat broadcasting, it's going to be a blowout situation, and I'm going to go Heat by 17.
Heat by 17. Glenn, nodding along.
Yeah, I'll call it up in the high teens, maybe even pushing the low 20s. To be honest, anyone got an update on Hero? How long? Do we know?
It's still game time decisions. I think the Heat injury report is obviously, we know the outs are definitely Morris and Oladipo as is standard. I think game time decisions on PJ Tucker, Tyler Hero, and Caleb Martin. I expect all of them to be playing, to be honest. So
either way, I put the dub in Heat's column. The Nets have got no one left, to be quite frank. So.
Yeah, and the Nets are just going to be looking at this game as scrub this one out because, with all those players to come, they won't be interested in what's going on tonight. They'll just want to get in and out of Miami. Okay, Ollie, what do you think? Big win?
Yeah, I think so. I think if it's not like a 20-point, it will come down towards the end, but it will be comfortable. W win situation, as you said, Sam. It'll be good. Yeah,
I think if you're a gambling man, which I tend to be, Heat on -11 on the spread. That looks appetizing. So, yeah, I think it will be higher teams. We will see what happens. But, of course, follow us at the Miami Heat UK for the in-game comms. 1 a.m. start tonight. Subscribe to Miami Heat UK TV. We will be back on Tuesday, I want to say. I could be wrong. I need to know. I know it's Dallas. We've got Dallas next. We'll be in touch in the next game anyway. We'll be back, of course, for the last 2 games before All-Star break. Oh, sorry.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. I've never doubted it. Gives my guys some time to recover as well. Get well soon, Ollie. Get well soon, Glenn. Take it easy, Sam. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the win tonight, guys. I'm sure it will be. We'll catch up next time. Take it easy.